top stories, Public Health Bill amended, Civil Aviation Amendment Bill passes in the National Assembly, and validation of potential rainwater harvesting sites to improve access to water. The details on these stories and more after the break.
Get the protection needed for your eyes only at Quartz Optical. Trade in and save up to 35% off your lens purchase, plus a free eye exam. Payment plans available from 3 to 24 months. Book your appointment today online at www.quartzoptical.com. For your eyes only. Trade in your old glasses and save up to 35% off your lenses only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Special conditions apply.
Mosoka, 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 mosoka.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Carla Berridge. The Public Health Amendment Bill 2022 has been passed with the repeal of the COVID Prevention and Protection Act. During the first sitting of the National Assembly on Thursday, the Public Health Amendment Bill was moved by Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew against the backdrop that COVID regulations were somewhat excessive.
Restrictions on visitations, domestic travel was curtailed in many instances. I want us to see how these, even though this is a piece of paper, one piece of paper, the amount of effects that this one piece of paper can have on the lives of people is tremendous, and that is why we should not take these things lightly. We are now in a new space and a new normal as I seek to really repeal this act.
The COVID-19 Prevention and Protection Act was repealed to form part of the existing Public Health Act, thereby being an amendment that allows COVID-19 to be dealt with in the future.
This repeal does not mean if COVID comes back we cannot respond in less than an hour. It means that where the legislation did not exist in a form to respond effectively to COVID, if there's even that thought, we have put a path in this new legislation to make sure that it does that. So we are stronger, we are better, and we are safer because of this action plan.
The opposition lent their support to the passage of the bill, with member for Nevis 10, Honorable Eric Evelyn, saying that he was happy about the repeal. The amendment to the bill was passed with no opposition votes. The Civil Aviation Amendment Bill passed in the National Assembly when members of Parliament met on Thursday. The bill, which was moved by the minister responsible, Honorable Marsha Henderson, sought to elevate the country's FAA rating to number 1. Minister Henderson explained the international ratings.
Just by way of background, this year, Madam Speaker, the U.S. Federal Aviation Authority announced that the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States would have been assigned a Category 2 safety rating as a result of our non-compliance with the safety standards of the International Civil Aviation Organization known as ICAO. Federal Aviation Administration has established 2 ratings for the status of countries. Category 1, Madam Speaker, relates to a country that does comply with the International Civil Aviation Organization standards.
As this impacts the Eastern Caribbean Aviation Authority, ECA, each island has to make the amendments to regain top status.
As a tourism destination, and as such, Madam Speaker, it is important that we maintain not only as a country, but as a region, the status mentioned earlier, that is the status of a country that does comply with the standards of the International Civil Aviation Organization. The amendments do not at all change the primary objective of the legislation, which is and must always be safety. Think that, Madam Speaker, the stakeholders within the aviation industry are cognizant of the demotion of the regional body ECHA from Category 1 to Category 2 status, and would indeed be very comforted to know that the government is working hard for them, along with our regional partners, in delivering rules and regulations that would actually assist them in their work.
Honorable Mark Brantley argued that the bill gives too much power to the Director General of ECHA. Attorney General Honorable Garth Wilkins said that the bill gives the Director General power only to make decisions in relation to safety and security. Efforts to improve the availability of fresh water resources and ensure water resource efficiency in St. Kitts and Nevis are underway through efforts of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, the Caribbean Development Bank, FAO's Investment Center, the Government of Mexico, and the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis. As part of the Addressing the Water Energy Nexus in Agriculture sub-project of the Mexico-CARICOM FAO Resilient Caribbean Initiative, FAO, together with the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Sustainable Development, have begun the process of validating 40 potential water harvesting and water intake sites across the Federation. It began on 11th October 2022 in the area of FIS, St. Kitts. The assessment team, including personnel from the GIS lab, carried out assessment procedures to determine if the pre-selected sites would be suitable for rainwater harvesting to supply water for the irrigation of crops, livestock, and other activities. The validation of potential rainwater harvesting sites on St. Kitts and Nevis will continue throughout October and is expected to be completed by mid-November. Following field validation in participating countries, SEAT will finalize the development of the web-based tool and conduct training for national ministry and other institutional staff in the use of the tool for planning of rainwater reservoirs and the eventual distribution of water to the farms. The Government of St. Kitts and Nevis, through the Ministries of Environment, Energy and Climate Action, has brought down the curtains on 4 days of engagement with regional and local stakeholders. The talks began on Sunday, 23rd October, with Minister of Environment and Climate Action, Honorable Dr. Joel Clark, and Minister of Energy and Utilities, Honorable Congress Maynard, and their permanent secretaries, Sharon Ratton and Daryl Lloyd, who met with representatives from the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, the Caribbean Development Bank, the St. Kitts Electricity Company SCELEC, and the Nevis Electricity Company NEVLEC to propose the way forward to manage a resilient energy sector in St. Kitts and Nevis. Minister Clark said the partnership between the Ministries of Energy and Environment will concretize the approach to renewable energy and energy security, in addition to energy for the most vulnerable. Closing out 4 days of engagements, SCELEC hosted an energy stakeholders national consultation on Wednesday. At this consultation, critical issues were raised by numerous regional and local stakeholders, including engineers, financiers, environmentalists, and climate activists, on creating the path for energy security. Coming out of the discussions, it was determined that an energy task force, among other things, will be established. This task force will ensure that the necessary support structures for the renewable energy project are in place. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Environment and Climate Action, Sharon Ratton, and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Energy, Daryl Lloyd, will spearhead the newly created Energy Task Force. After the break, St. Kitts and Nevis represented at GCF Policymakers Workshop in St. Lucia, and the MOA donates soursop trees to Antioch Baptist Church. Stay with us.
Elevate your experience with Flow's fiber-fast internet and mobile combined. Enjoy double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines, plus up to 35 megabits per second home internet speed at the best rate, giving you the best value to stay connected. I think our Flow mobile is elevated.
You think?
An elevated experience starts with Flow at home, powering double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines at the best rate. Visit a Flow store to sign up today.
Create the home you love with this never-ending double cashback coupon season at Hotspot's Furniture and Appliances. Get this 4-piece Stranger Things bedroom set and get over $700 in free groceries. This includes the queen bed frame at $20.25 in weekly payments with $261.37 in double cash back. 6-drawer chest at $13.50 weekly payments with $173.75 in double cash back. Dresser/mirror at $20 weekly payment with $259.74 in double cash back. Nightstand at $7.75 weekly payment with $99.45 in double cash back. Create the home you love with this double cashback coupon season at Hotspot's Furniture and Appliances.
Welcome back. St. Kitts and Nevis was represented at a 2-day GCF Policymakers Workshop, which took place recently in St. Lucia. Liaison Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture, Tonisha Weeks, and Quarantine Officer in the Department of Agriculture, Janelle Kelly, attended the workshop. The Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IECA, is currently implementing its CARICOM Ag Ready project funded by the Green Climate Fund, GCF. This project aims to strengthen the foundation for a climate-responsive agricultural sector in the Caribbean. The CARICOM Ag Ready project has completed key deliverables at the national and regional levels and hosted a regional workshop targeted at policy decision makers from each participating country. The 2-day workshop covered key findings from each study, the implications of the results for the regions, the importance of activities and tools the project has helped to develop or apply, and how those tools can help to support decision making. In commemoration of World Food Day, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources and Cooperatives donated a number of soursop trees to the Antioch Baptist Church during a brief tree planting ceremony held recently. The ceremony was led by Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources and Cooperatives, Miguel Fleming, who made the presentation of trees to lead pastor of the Antioch Baptist Church, Lincoln Connor.
So we are sure that in a number of years that we'll be able to harvest some soursop, and I hope that from time to time when the members from your church walk the yard, they can see that good things are happening in the yard, and it inspires them basically to go back home and want to do the same thing.
Pastor Connor expressed his heartfelt gratitude in the efforts made by the ministry to restart the process of tree planting in the church.
I am happy that you are starting us in the process, which we have been a little delinquent. Our intention has always been to plant some fruit trees, but now that you have started us off, we definitely are going to continue.
He also highlighted the benefits of the soursop trees in relation to breast cancer treatment and encouraged the ministry to continue the process of making the trees available to the public.
But I find it particularly instructive as this is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we are planting soursop trees, which we know the healing properties of the soursop, and lots of people don't like the soursop, but the soursop tree has tremendous healing properties of course, the antioxidants and the vitamin C, but most of them tell us that the soursop can fight cancer even stronger than chemotherapy. And I want to encourage the Department of Agriculture, even as you have begun this process, to make available seedlings to individuals and slips, and encourage even a soursop drive so that people can have one in their yards and talk about the impact of it, as we struggle also with so many people being affected by breast cancer.
The Antioch Baptist Church has vowed to make their intentions of spreading awareness known to the members of the church so that they too can benefit from the result of the donation. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources and Cooperatives extended its goodwill by also donating seedlings to the Department of Social Services. Acting Permanent Secretary Miguel Fleming acknowledged his team in the ministry for making the donations possible and assured the department of their investment of continual support. He said, quote, "I would like to thank my team for coming up with such a wonderful idea because this surrounds the theme of leaving no one behind, and we thought that this is a nice gesture, and we also want to let you know that we are here to provide the necessary support now and beyond," end quote. Supervisor of the Department of Social Services, Delia Scarborough, received and expressed thanks for the seedlings on behalf of the department, which will now deliver the seedlings to select families or other vulnerable groups. She also endorsed the message of the theme for World Food Day, Leave No One Behind, encouraging everyone to educate each other about the importance of food security. As St. Kitts observes another Tourism Awareness Month in November, tourism officials have scheduled several activities that will take place throughout the month. A poster released by the St. Kitts Tourism Authority informs that the month will officially start with opening remarks by Minister of Tourism, Honorable Masha Henderson, on November 1st. In the days following, there will be St. Kitts Culture and Heritage Workshop on November 2nd and 4th, followed by a beach cleanup on the 5th at Majors Bay. Sunday worship on Sunday will be held at the Antioch Baptist Church. November 9th will see the hosting of Industry Talk at CFBC, Marketing and Energy Conservation on November 10th, the launch of Tourism Festival in Virgils on the 11th, and the Tourism Fun Day on November 12th. A Talk in School series will take place from November 14th to the 18th. The month will wrap up with a heritage and fitness hike on November 19th and a peninsula swim on November 27th. Tourism Awareness Month 2022 activities are guided by the theme Immerse, Indulge, Renew, Rethinking Tourism 2022. Coming up in regional news, business operators in St. Lucia sensitized on issues relating to crime in the wake of robberies. The details when we come back.